Revenge films.
My name is Michelle. I'm getting married very soon, and I live with my fiancé Thomas, who is a regular office employee. I graduated from Washington University, and I work at an international company. I have a high salary, and every day was pretty busy. My parents worked overseas and had a successful business internationally, so for many years they were going back and forth between various countries. Because of that, I had been living alone in an apartment for many years, and my fiancé moved in with me to begin our lives together. I was satisfied living with Thomas and things were going well, but there was one concern on my mind. That was the presence of my soon-to-be mother-in-law. Every time she would see me, it was a given that she would interact with me in a very cold attitude. But we were meeting to discuss the wedding.
What do you want to do about the exchange of letters from the parents of the bride and groom?
Isn't it better if we read it out loud? I agree.
Well, then let's do that!
Nobody asked for your opinion, Michelle, so can you keep your mouth shut? What? I'm having a discussion with Thomas. For someone without an education like you, and that doesn't know how the world works, you're not going to have any say when it comes to the wedding. Without an education?
Alright. Let's just leave it at this for today. We'll come again.
Next time you come, can you just come alone? I want to talk to you without any nuisances getting in the way. Nuisance? I have nothing to talk about with someone as stupid as you.
Alright. Anyway, I'll see you soon.
Hey, what do you mean, alright?
It's fine. We're leaving.
Saying my mother-in-law, who was clearly only cold to me, made me uneasy, and I questioned Thomas in the car home. Hey, is it just me, or is your mom really cold to me and only me? And what does she mean by uneducated? Why do I have to be told that?
She just takes some time to warm up to people. So don't worry about it. It's fine.
I don't think that this is a matter of warming up to people.
I don't want to get into a fight before the wedding. So can you just tolerate it for now?
Alright, fine. I still felt uneasy about my mother-in-law, who was only rude to me. But after that, we continued preparations for the wedding, and before I knew it, it was finally the day. I was nervous from start to finish, but the ceremony went smoothly. And with many relatives from both families gathered in the venue, it came time for Thomas's mother to read her letter to Thomas. I was imagining a touching letter from a mother to a son to be read out loud, but then his mother suddenly said something outrageous and the whole venue fell silent. Please allow me to first apologize to everyone here today. I am terribly embarrassed that our son would take such an uneducated wife, but because she is the person my son chose, I decided to accept the marriage. It's truly such an embarrassment that the bride has such a low education. For a moment, I had no idea what she was saying, but by the time I realized, I was speaking back to her with the truth. You know, I graduated from Washington University. Huh? If you're going to lie, then at least tell a better lie. My mother-in-law laughed out loud and didn't even try to believe me. When I glanced over at my husband-to-be, and he had an awkward look on his face.
You don't actually work at an international company, right?
Excuse me? What do you mean? When I questioned Thomas, apparently his pride couldn't allow me to have a higher salary and a better job than him. So he admitted that he lied to his mother that I was only a high school graduate. When my parents overheard this, and they were very furious, right at that moment, the doors to the wedding venue suddenly flew open. And then a young woman who looked crazy came barging in. Are you the one that stole my boyfriend? You're the second woman. You better not think that you could get married. As she said that, she came stomping over to my seat, grabbed the dress, and started pulling it apart. You're the second woman. I'm the one who's going to get married. Thomas, who was sitting there in silence the whole time, opened his mouth in panic.
No! You're the second woman!
What?
You go home! Why did you come here?
You're awful. You told me that I was the only woman that you loved, didn't you? That was a lie?
Obviously it was a lie! If I'm going to get married, it's only obvious that I'm going to choose the one with more money!
I couldn't understand what was going on, and I was sitting there stunned when Thomas got up awkwardly and tried to force the woman out of the venue. But then the staff of the wedding venue were furious that the dress got ripped apart, and they grabbed the woman and dragged her out. Thomas was desperately trying to make excuses, but everyone there was glaring at him. Everybody had seen that interaction, but the guests on the bride's side all started to raise their voices, and the wedding venue transformed into this war zone. As a result, all of the guests on the bride's side stormed out, and the wedding was canceled on the spot. My parents had flown into the country just for this wedding, and along with the shock that all of this was for nothing, I felt my blood boil inside of me towards Thomas and his whole family. After that, I tried to get Thomas and his family to pay for the wedding expenses, but he said that I was the one that canceled the wedding, so I should be the one to pay the cancellation fees. I had enough, and since my parents were still in town, we all decided to go knock on their family door. When we got to the house and rang the doorbell, Thomas's mother answered the door. When they saw us standing there, they frowned and glared at us.
We've come here today for you to take responsibility for hurting our daughter. Huh? What are you talking about?
You were cheating on me. How shameless of you. Excuse me, just because you two had a little bit of money, who do you think you are? This rich new family can go home.
I can't marry you anymore! And you're the one that destroyed the wedding, so I'll be suing you for a settlement fee!
We were over it already when, in good timing, my father appeared on the television screen in a special feature on him on the channel. They played footage of him living very comfortably with multiple residents around the world after succeeding in starting a business overseas. And the moment they saw that, Thomas and his mother changed their attitude in an instant. Oh my, you really are amazing people. I see you differently now.
I take back what I just said, Michelle! We should still get married!
Seems like that would be much better. Do you seriously think that it would make it easier? There's no way in hell that I'm getting married to the worst human who lies to me and cheats on me.
Don't be so stubborn! We can forget about everything in the past and look towards a great future together!
After hearing Thomas's unbelievable selfish words, my mother, who had been standing there in silence the whole time, opened her mouth for the first time. We won't forgive someone who belittles our precious daughter in front of so many people like that. And on top of that, there is no way that we will give our daughter to somebody who ranks woman and dates multiple at the same time.
It's exactly as my wife says. We are not giving you our daughter. No way! We will be hiring a lawyer, and we will be collecting a settlement fee as well as the wedding expenses from you. You better be ready.
There's no way that we could pay for all of that.
There's no point speaking with you any further, so our lawyer will be contacting you for the rest.
Please, our family doesn't have that much money to spare. Please, at least pay for the wedding expenses.
You're the ones that destroyed the wedding. We're leaving now.
Wait!
I'll apologize, so forgive me, Michelle. Let's talk about this!
Shortly after, we asked the top lawyer that my father knew and sued Thomas and his family. The wedding expenses that they were refusing to pay, we also spoke to the lawyer about, and we were able to collect the full fees from them. Thomas was forced to move back in with his parents and live a poor life, but he must have missed his life with me because he contacted me multiple times and begged for me to get back together. But of course, I had no intention whatsoever of getting back with him, so I rejected him and blocked his number. Thomas and his family really didn't have much in savings, so in order to pay for the wedding and the settlement fees, they had to take out a loan. As a result of that, they struggled, and both parents and son had to work day in and day out in order to pay back the debt. Apparently, his mother wasn't able to stand, so she had to suffer because of her son and decided to kick Thomas out of the house. Because of the incident at the wedding, she became estranged from the rest of her family, and I'm sure nobody will care for her as she gets older, and that she will live the rest of her life alone. After getting kicked out of the house, Thomas moved into an old rundown apartment, and I heard that he's working multiple jobs every day and night to pay back the debt little by little, and is somehow getting by. He was still heavily in debt, and of course no one wanted to marry him after that, so I'm sure he'll be sad and single for the rest of his life. As for me, there was no more need for me to support Thomas, so I was even more financially comfortable than before. From now on, I'm going to use the money for me and as a reward to myself. I think I will treat myself every now and then. I will use the bitter memories of the wedding as a lesson, and if I'm ever to fall in love again, I hope I could see through my partner and my partner's family thoroughly before walking down the aisle.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.